On her second night in Scotland, Tabitha Lasley slept with one of her sources. He was, in fact, the first person she'd interviewed on her self-fashioned journalistic assignment. She'd traveled to Aberdeen in hopes of talking to offshore oil riggers like him, men who made their living on platforms in the North Sea, working for 3 months at a time hundreds of miles from land. She was hoping her research would get to some essential truth about gender. Without women around, how do men behave? But then she met Caden. He was married, the father of twins, and stranded in the port city until the weather cleared enough for a chopper to drop him off on his rig. He invited Lasley out to a pub with some of his mates, stroked her hand and defended her when a drunk at the bar called her a whore. Then she invited him back to her hotel. It was a twist of fate that would shift the course of Sea State, the book Lasley ended up writing about her 6-month stay in Aberdeen. What she'd intended to be a purely journalistic endeavor became something else, an investigation memoir hybrid, infused with the details of an affair that threatened to derail her both personally and professionally. "I wasn't trained as a proper journalist, as you can probably tell," says Lasley. "The second agent I went to see said, 'You can't write this book if you want a career as a writer. You won't be taken seriously.' But ultimately, falling for one of the prototypical males she had sought to observe was what lifted her book beyond helicopter journalist sociology and into the realm of a singular and refreshingly candid travel memoir. Not only did Lasley sign with the third agent she met with, but when Sea State, out this week in the U.S. was released nearly a year ago in the UK, it received glowing notices. It was shortlisted for the Gordon Byrne Prize, and the London Review of Books compared Lasley to Joan Didion, remarking on her skill for inflecting non-fiction material subjectively and her habit of assessing situations via her nervous system.